Jeff Sky here, talking about the grand solar minimum and is it real? Is it not? There's a lot of misinformation going around the internet, and I just want to clarify a few things. And just to kind of back up a little bit, the sun has always gone through cycles, and typically solar cycles last 11 years on average. And we are coming to the end of a solar maximum period. So we are working our way into our solar minimum going into 2020. But there's a lot of people online saying that we're going to go into an ice age, and it's going to get really cold again, and global warming is going to go away. And I guess I could be wrong, but I don't think it's going to get that bad. The last major grand solar minimum we had was in the mid to late 1600s into the 1700s. And we saw the global average temperature decrease by 1.3 degrees Celsius. And so for those that are online kind of saying that the grand solar minimum that's coming now is going to outdo and go past global warming, well, we've gone up 2 degrees Celsius since the Industrial Revolution. So, granted, this grand solar minimum could be more significant, but I don't think it'll get to the point where it's even offset the heating from climate change for the last 150 years. So don't want to go too much more deep into it than that, other than just want to say, there are a lot of natural variations in the sun and sunspots, and it is true that June of 2019 has seen a significant drop in the amount of sunspots, and that is certainly cause for concern. But this stuff is monitored 24/7 at the NOAA Space Labs in Boulder, Colorado, which I did have a chance to visit briefly while I was still a meteorologist. So, I think if it truly was an issue, I want to say they wouldn't hide it from us, or we would notice the effects would be more dramatic than what we're seeing now. Granted, we are very early into the grand solar minimum, but just wanted to throw that out there. And I think a lot of these people that are saying that these tornadoes and these floods and droughts and stuff that we're seeing are grand solar minimum related wouldn't really make sense, because all of those weather events that everyone's saying is attributed to the grand solar minimum is being attributed to a weaker jet stream. And a grand solar minimum would actually strengthen the jet stream, because you would have more of a temperature differential between the equator and the poles. So I think that's maybe perhaps the grand solar minimum will be stronger than I think it is, but I can't think you can say that weather events that are associated with a weakening jet stream, which is associated with rising temperatures, you can't say those weather events would be associated with the grand solar minimum, because that's associated with decreasing global average temperature. So just wanted to say that, because I feel like I've seen a lot of strange comments on the web that aren't quite making sense. Not trying to cause a debate or anything, just trying to even out the playing field a little bit. So hope you're enjoying your early July, and have a nice Independence Day.